Half a day, Flosstube.
I'm Aldous.
I'm Little One. And I'm Lynette here at Homesteading on the Home Front. It is, I don't even know the date. It's Tuesday,
August 14th.
August 14th. I almost said the 13th. Tuesday, August 14th. And we wanted to bring you another update. And yep, let's talk about the elephant in the room. We brought back the half a day. We missed it, and we were told that many of you missed it. So, lacking an appropriate New England greeting, we decided to bring back the half a day. So for those of you who are new to our channel in the past couple of months, we recently returned to the continental U.S. from 3 years in Guam, and half a day is the island greeting there, much like Hawaii has aloha. So yeah, half a day, Flosstube. We've got lots to talk to you about, so we're just gonna get right into it. The first thing was last Tuesday we had a little stitchy meetup at the Hobby Lobby in the Buckland Shopping Center in I think it's Manchester, maybe it's Vernon, Connecticut. So Brenda of Brenda Stitches was there, Andy Nana's Needles was there, finally got to meet Beth Turtelot, who was there, and it was my first time meeting Andy too. So anyway, my friend Jen and her daughter Hannah were there, and me and Little One, and Brenda's boyfriend's granddaughter, who was just learning how to stitch. So I hope you saw the little update that I posted live on location, but it was a lovely day. It was great to meet the ladies and to spend some time stitching, and Andy was very generous and had gifts for the three of us, so we wanted to show you those and say thank you, Andy. So Eldest, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I got this pattern.
It's like she knew you loved horses.
Somehow. I have this Raggedy Ann and Andy needle minder.
Which, Andy, you had no way of knowing this, but their dad's nursery was Raggedy Ann and Andy, and so I brought it back for their nursery. So we love Raggedy Ann and Andy around here.
We have some tapestry needles. We have gummy bears, which we can always use. We have this scissors and a beautiful fob for it. It's blue with a little horse charm at the end.
And it all came in
This
project bag. And what'd you get, Little One?
I got a Country Cottage Needleworks pattern, Up, Up, and Away. And like the night before, we saw a hot air balloon, so.
Yep. Grandma and Papa live out in the country, and so when I was a kid we used to see them quite often, and yep, we saw a hot air balloon go by and they landed at the neighbor's house, so that was just the night before, so that was pretty neat.
We've got needles. I've been wanting to eat these, but
and now you can. They've been officially shown.
I've got these scissors and a fob with a cat on the end. And this was my needle minder.
Pebbles and Bam Bam.
And I have the same project bag.
And I got a project bag as well. And inside was our favorite tea. Andy, I've turned my mom on to this, so we are going through tea like crazy. I got my little this one, I'm not taking it out of the package, but I don't think there's any glare. Bee-Skep Garden. And that's from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy, which is a new designer to me. And Teresa Kogut, Honey and Wool Farm. And I also got some needles. And then, Andy, I don't know what to say about this one. So, these are the kind of scissors that I normally use. And the reason for that is every year it's time to buy school supplies and the kids would insist on brand new scissors, even though they'd never go bad. Like, why couldn't you use the same pair of scissors in first grade that you used in kindergarten? I would have to buy 2 more pairs every year. So these, like Priscilla, like these are the ones that I usually use. So Andy got me my first pair of gingers. Thank you so much, Andy. These are going to be treasured. And a fob that she made with the L at the end. So thank you so much, my dear. Very much appreciated and lovely to meet you. Okay, so that was our Connecticut gathering and our gifts. And we have another thank you to say. Teresa of Kit and Stitcher contacted me and said she had some threads to pass the stash on. A sweet lady named Vina, hi Vina, I know you're watching now, had given Teresa some fancy floss and said pass whatever you won't use. So we were the lucky recipients from Teresa. And we got the package in, and it was like Halloween because they were spread out on the floor and everyone was taking what they wanted, and somebody took all of the purple ones. I won't name names, but anyway, I know Teresa meant for the girls to have them, but some of the fancy flosses were called for in some projects that I have upcoming, so some of them are living with me. So thank you, Vina. Thank you, Teresa. Very, very much appreciated. While I'm talking about Teresa, I want to encourage you to go to her site and download her new zine. The stories were great. There's a chart for a sampler from, I believe it's Norway, because what I decided to do was make that sampler as a tribute to my Swedish great-grandmother. How different can styles be from Sweden to Norway, right? So look for that in an upcoming, maybe 2019, I will get to that. But if you haven't gone to her site, if you love samplers at all, download her zine. The other exciting news is that we have paid our registration and we have reserved our room. And so little one and I will be headed to StitchCon. This one didn't want to leave her horses. So it'll be the 2 of us. I don't know if we're driving, I don't know if we're flying, I don't know if we're walking. We won't be riding horses, but somehow we're gonna get there, and it'll be a great time.
I don't know about you, but I don't want to walk.
It might justify 3 days of sitting doing nothing but stitching.
True.
Okay, on to whips. Do you want to be excused or do you want to hang out?
I'll go eat my gummy bears.
My gummy bears. Okay, you want to talk about your
Sure.
whip?
We got the express shipment yesterday, so
We found the picture of what her sampler is going to look like. I knew it was somewhere, I just didn't know where.
That yellow color or orange color I replaced with a silver because it's used for the keys on the edges. That's the only color that I changed. So what I did I finished up this row, and then I started on this row I didn't get a whole lot done, but...
Tell them what the bottom row is going to say.
Wrought by J.A.L., daughter of S.T.L. in the year 2018. Hopefully it will be 2018.
It will be. Are you going to get it done in time for the fair?
Probably not. That's okay. I can enter it next year.
Yep. So yes, as she said, we got our, it used to be called the express shipment, but it is now called the unaccompanied baggage shipment. So basically all the essentials that you need, and I had put my DMC floss in there, some little wool applique projects to get me done, you know, the essentials, right? Also lots of dishes and pans and stuff like that, so I've been able to cook with my own things, which has been great. But also I put a couple of frames in there, and one of them I think is going to fit my Nantucket project perfectly, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Speaking of Nantucket, I got a lot of work done on her this weekend. So last time you saw it, I had the upper border almost done and the roof and the words. So I put some windows in, I put the girl in, I changed her hair to blonde, of course. Then I started on the waves and a whale, and I'm starting to build the ship. So she's coming along nicely. And if you remember, the house was originally like a bluish gray color, and the pebble called for was just pure gray. So I was gonna have to change that and play with it to get the look that I liked, which was the model. But one of the colors from Vina and Teresa is like almost perfectly variegated gray, light blue, minty green. So I'm just going to use that, and it's going to be so much easier. So yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully next week sometime I'll get started on the house. And then my weekday project when I'm not here in Newport. This is Anna Grader, and she is coming along nicely. She's in her squirrel rod, so I kind of just loosened her up, and I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I'm leaving this row blank because I haven't decided what it's going to say yet. But all of the eyelet letters are done, thank goodness. And then I've been able to start on the flower down here. Now, you all know how I feel about Anna. Like, she's a beautiful project. I was floored the other day. I've been playing catch up and just binge watching all of the Flosstubers that I've missed in the past 3 months. So I was watching Julie McConnell, and one of her older videos, she said that she hasn't sold one copy of Anna Grader yet, which I just cannot believe, because those colors are beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful sampler when she's done. So if you are anywhere around Omaha, run to Reflections Framing and get some Anna Grader. Okay, my new favorite thing. I went to Ocean State Job Lot, which for those of you in New England, you will know what Ocean State Job Lot is. It's not just in the Ocean State of Rhode Island, it's all over New England. The closest thing I can think of to Ocean State Job Lot, in the South, you have Ollie's, you know, discount store. Well, the other day they had 50% off all of their sunglasses and all of their cheaters. So I went and I found these. It looks like a, I don't know, a pencil case. But inside there are these cheaters. Now they're very, very thin, right? So they're perfect for me to wear on my nose while I'm stitching. And they're small enough so that I can look out over them and watch Flosstube while I'm stitching, because I can't watch Flosstube through glasses. That doesn't work for me. The best part about these is that they were $2.99 on sale for $1.50. So I got several, and because they come in their own case, I can just throw this in my project bag and not worry about breaking the glasses or scratching them or whatever. So I am thrilled with these. Okay, so I mentioned the other day that I'd been watching Julie and realized that she was the enabler for all of Flosstube with the little globe on the tart tray that everyone's been getting at Hobby Lobby. So I've seen them at Hobby Lobby, but I just have refused to pay the price. So the other day we went to a thrift store, and I found a domed cheese tray. Dome cheese tray. Of course it was wood. So I threw some chalk paint on it, and I added a stand that I got at Michael's. I need to paint the bottom, I guess. Can you see what I paid for the cheese tray? Yep, $3. So now, whenever it is that we find a house, I will have my own little display with a dome, just like everybody else. I was the girl that had the homemade Cabbage Patch Kid because my parents wouldn't spend money on the real thing. I was the girl that ran around in the Winter 2 sneakers from Sears because my parents wouldn't pay for the brand name sneakers that all my classmates were wearing. So I'm okay with my little cheap version of what all the cool kids are wearing. And then at another, I guess it's an indoor flea market thrift store. It's run by a local church. Yep, found me a dough bowl, just like all the cool kids have. Paid too much for it, but that's okay. It went to a good cause. Well, I paid too much in my mind. You guys would say, that was a bargain. But anyway, 25. Here's my $25 dough bowl. Grandma is going to watch this and she's going to say, I can't believe you paid $25 for that. So anyway, I have a dough bowl. I have a dome display. I'm good.
You just need a place to store it all.
Just need a place to store it all. That's right. Yes, I do. I guess I'll show the vintage stitch. I wasn't going to show the vintage stitch, but let me go get it. So, when I was in college, in the mid-90s, I went to one of these ooh-rah-rah pep talks about life in the real world. And one of the questions that the speaker asked was, if money was no object and you knew you could not fail, what is it that you would do? It's a great question. Everyone out there in Flosstube land should answer that for themselves. But at the time, my answer was, I would design cross-stitch samplers. And so I played around with designing samplers, and this is one that I designed myself. I don't know where the saying came from. It's not an original to me, but here it is. She's on Ada, ghetto framed, complete with Scotch tape. But I was kind of impressed because look, these are all eyelet stitches.
Really?
Yep. And it says, a plump wife and a big barn never did any man harm. Very fitting. We're in the year 1997. That's 21 years ago. I'm old. So anyway, not that you would want it, but the chart is not available because there is none. I think this was done on graph paper before I even owned any software.
I'm impressed.
So there's more where that came from. I'll be showing you off and on over the next couple of weeks the pieces that are still at my mother's, and then eventually I can show you the pieces that are in storage when we get our household goods. Plans for the week, for me it's just Anna Grader, and then in about a week and a half we need to drop off our entries for the local fair, which means I have a lot of framing to do because I didn't frame them before we moved. I carried the pieces with me because it was just easier that way. So I've got a lot of framing to do. We've got to sort through and decide what you're putting in, which of your ornaments and projects. So maybe next time I'll have some FFOs to show you. Maybe it'll be after the fair. I don't know. We'll see. What are you going to stitch on after you're done with your sampler?
Well, I now have 3 watermelon pieces, I think. I'm going to choose one of those.
Yeah. It'll be still a good time to stitch, too. I don't know that you'd want to stitch watermelon in December.
I mean, I don't know.
All right. So, with that, I will sign off.